The day we were supposed to sign the marriage license, my boyfriend posted a photo proclaiming his true love. I got dumped, then greenlit in the same breath. In a rage, I married his sworn enemy. Later, Chase cornered me wild-eyed. To get back at me, you married the man you hate most, and you still claim you never loved me. Hunter slid an arm around my waist and laughed, low and lethal. You're just the mutt my wife finally wised up to. Worthy? Not even close. Before we go any further, subscribe to the channel and tell us in the comments where you're listening from. I waited 4 hours on the city steps. Chase never showed. Couples streamed out, every pair pausing to stare. Then they walked away whispering. I didn't blame them. When they'd gone in, I'd been standing there. When they came out, I was still there. Even a stranger could read the headline. Girl gets stood up, but the story was bigger than the headline. 5 minutes before closing, I called Chase again. Same cheerful robot. We're sorry. The number you have dialed is currently busy. So I opened iMessage. Just as I was about to hit call, a new post popped up on his Instagram. You are my sunshine. Beneath it, a soft focus shot of a girl gazing at the camera like it was church. Filter cozy, bottom left corner. True love. True love. Huh. I laughed out loud, sharp and bitter. If Chase weren't my fiancé, if today weren't the day we were supposed to make it legal, hell, I would have liked the post and dropped a congratulations, G.I. Jeff. But ifs are useless. He announces true love on our license signing day and slaps it on Instagram. Translation. I didn't just get stood up. I got replaced. Within minutes, the comments section exploded. 99 years, bro. Finally got the sis-in-law of your dreams. Congrats. She's gorgeous. Dog food at noon. Respect. All sweet. Nobody sees the glitch except one. That's not Ivy. Bro, you forgot to switch to your alt. Silence. In seconds, every comment is scrubbed except that one stubborn truth teller. A heartbeat later, the entire post vanishes. Too late. I'd already screenshotted. And from the geotag on the screenshot, I know exactly where he is. Private dining salon at the Velvet Hound. Chase is toasting with his crew. Only one girl in the room. The sunshine from the photo. She's curled against his side. My entrance hits pause on the laughter. Assist Sterling. It's the guy who left the 99 comment. I smile like a scalpel. So you're all hanging out together? Faces cycle through every shade of guilt. Chase stands. Ivy, listen. Truth or dare? I lost. The post was just, do you know what day today is? He clamps his mouth shut, eyebrow raised. I wait. He knows. The quiet gnaws at him. Standing up your bride at City Hall is nuclear-level sabotage. Any normal woman would detonate. I don't yell. I just stand there calm, letting the silence scrape. Ivy, I'm sorry. Work's insane right now. I can't let marriage distract me. He layers on the puppy eyes, but I love you. Wow, some serious cheek. I yank my hand free. We've been engaged for 2 years. Our wedding's next month. If you weren't ready, you could have said so any time. You claim you're swamped yet in love. But you ditch me for happy hour and crown her your true love. Chase, is this a joke I'm too dense to get? His face freezes, offense flickering in his eyes. Before I can process why he looks wounded, the sunshine stands. Vance, can't you take a hint? Summer isn't ready for marriage. I've heard you chased him, that you forced this. He's ambitious. Trapping him now is selfish. I blink. Holy White Lotus monologue. Batman. Worse, Chase doesn't deny it. I tilt my head. You know him that well? She lifts her chin. We've only talked a few times. A handful of chats and she's drafting his manifesto. Chase and I have 10 years of history. I look at him. Is that how you feel? He meets my gaze for a second. Sorry, Ivy. Fine. I exhale. Then let's pause the wedding. Tell your parents. I'll tell mine. Consider it cancelled. Relief floods his face. He grabs my hands. Ivy, you're amazing. I'll speak to your dad. Once I build my empire, I'll throw you the wedding of the century. Skip it. The joint ventures tied to our engagement could get messy, but I'll handle the fallout. He blinks. What do you mean? Did I stutter? Wedding cancelled. Relationship over. I walked out without looking back. The cold night air stopped me sober. A replay of the showdown scrolls through my head. Regret creeps in. Too impulsive. Our engagement wasn't just us. It stitched together two conglomerates. My flash breakup will ripple through every boardroom. Support from the Vance directors is already wobbling. This chaos is rocket fuel on a dumpster fire. One name surfaces through the panic. Hunter. I reopen the screenshot. The comment that exposed Chase was posted by Hunter. If anyone can step in as groom and stop the bleeding, it's him. Years ago, when I'd picked a fiancé, Hunter had been on the short list. Senior year, Dad's illness flared. I parachuted into dance with zero business training. My degree was studio art. 3 brutal years later, I'd clawed together credibility and allies. Marriage was the final chess piece. Chase and Hunter both came from dynasties whose equity stakes could anchor us. Chase grew up coddled, swagger on tap. Hunter was orphaned at 17, left school, and grabbed the wheel of Sterling before he could vote. While the rest of us tailgated at college, he flew red-eyes to close contracts. We all inherited junior titles. Only Hunter earned the real one. Now he's a staple on primetime finance segments. I'd chosen Chase for 2 selfish reasons. College history and the freedom to keep running down myself. Hunter, brilliant but intimidating, deep-sea cold, unreadable, ruthless. During my engagement, he cannibalized half the Sumar portfolio. Chase would snarl or swagger whenever we crossed paths at galas. Hunter pretended not to notice. Once, after Chase stormed off, dragging me, I glanced back. Hunter's eyes locked on me, storm clouds swirling. One look and my pulse sprinted like prey. I find Hunter on iMessage. Type, "Where are you?" Hover. Hit send. The read reply is instant. A map pin so fast. I wonder if he'd been waiting. A taxi later. I'm in the elevator of the Sterling. Pin says hotel suite. The door opens on the rooftop billiard loft instead. Tension drains. Public space. Fuse cracking. Easier to breathe. I paste on a smile. Hunter lines up a shot. White dress shirt, sleeves folded. Back muscles flexing like steel cable under silk. Crack. Balls mushroom across emerald felt. No audience. No greeting. He's icing me on purpose. I swallow. CEO, you saw the post. So did I. I'm here to ask. Beg really for your help. Silence. He sinks 2 more solids while I falter. I step between the cue and pocket. CEO, I know this is insane, but marry me. I'll bring 100% sincerity to the table. Q glances off the cue ball, misses. Hunter straightens, eyes black ice on mine. A shiver corkscrews down my spine. I warned you Chase wasn't the one. Now your head hurts from the brick wall, and you want a ring from me the same week. Am I a prop in your lover's quarrel? His voice is midnight gravel. The words beat against the drum of my heart. He was a full head taller than me. When he spoke, he looked down, the weight of his gaze pressing on my scalp until it tingled. By now I was past caring. Fine, I was blind. You win, CEO. I yelled it with my eyes shut. The billiard room fell silent. Hunter pressed his lips together and said nothing. We were supposed to get our license today, but Chase stood me up, and he even posted that picture on Instagram. I knew how cheap it sounded using feelings as bargaining chips. But we were both traitors. Just like when Hunter had dropped out of college to take over his family's company, I wouldn't let the empire our fathers built collapse on my watch. Marrying Hunter was for me gains outweighing losses. What it meant for him, I let the sentence die and waited for his answer, heart hammering. I thought he would throw me out. Instead, he slid the cue across the felt. 3 balls left. Sink them and I'll say yes. Me? Seriously? Hunter looked away. Make the shots first. He walked to the bar and poured himself a glass of water. 6. I gripped the cue. I'd never played pool in my life. All I could do was copy what Hunter had done. To my shock, the first ball dropped. I blinked, instinctively glancing at him. He froze, glass halfway to his lips. 2 more, he said coolly, and drank. My palms were slick. The second ball refused the pocket on my first try. When Hunter said nothing, I kept shooting. Eventually it went in. Only the red 3 remained halfway across the table. Too far. Too gentle. Mississippi too hard. The cue ball flew off the felt. I lost count after a dozen tries. With every miss, the room shrank. Sweat sealed the cue to my skin. I glanced at Hunter. No reprieve. The clock read 1 a.m. Last try, I muttered. If it won't go, fate says no. I drew back and stabbed. Mississippi fine. I let the cue clatter. Hunt. Before I could finish, he stepped in behind me, closing my fingers back around the shaft. I'll teach you. While I was still reeling, he folded me into the shot. Watch the ball. Hand here. His voice hung above my ear. Yet I felt the vibration of every syllable through his chest. My mind widened out. I was a puppet, strings in his grip. Crack. Thud. 2 sounds. It went in. 7. Me. It went. It actually went. That meant I spun toward Hunter. We were 5 inches apart, maybe less. Too close. He tilted his head. Our eyes locked for one arrested heartbeat. Then he straightened, bringing me with him. I opened my mouth, but he beat me to it. Tomorrow 9 sharp city steps. Me? Okay. Hunter drove me home. I didn't sleep. The echo of Ollie ricocheted until dawn. I passed out sometime after the sky turned pale, then jerked awake at 7:30, courtesy of my internal clock. At 7, Hunter texted, "Bring ID and birth certificate." Right. Yesterday I'd won. Today I was marrying Hunter. I showered, dabbed on concealer to hide the all-nighter, and headed downstairs at 8:30. A familiar horn beeped. The window of his Bentley glided down. Get in at City. I worried Hunter's icy face would ruin the photo. We got it on the first take. All done. Just like that. You two are gorgeous. Congratulations and best wishes. When the clerk handed me the stamped marriage certificate, my head spun. Hunter smiled. Barely, but I caught the uptick. In the photo, he looked almost gentle. Strange, since in real life he acted like his wife had just run off. Adai was still staring at the little red booklet when Hunter walked up. Where to? I'll drop you. It's fine. You go ahead. I've got errands. He didn't press. Call if you need anything. I nodded. After we split, I went home to Vance. Dad was practicing calligraphy. I crept in, pockets burning around the corners of the marriage certificate. Ivy's back. Come see the engraved invitations I wrote. Nice brushwork, huh? He set the pen down. Since his illness, he'd left the board to me. The company wasn't a one-man show, and handing me the gavel had drawn blood from both of us. All my scrambling was so he wouldn't regret that choice, even if it meant marrying into the Summoners. Now I'd dumped Chase and married Hunter in the same breath, and he had no idea. I stood rooted, terrified the shock would stop his heart. Dad glanced over. Something on your mind? I'm married, I blurted. He chuckled. I know you got the license yesterday. Where's Chase? Not Chase. Hunter. His eyes bulged. Come again. I tossed the booklet onto the table. He grabbed it, pulse hammering so hard I saw his hands shake. Dad, a man who'd survived hostile takeovers and cancer surgeries, caught himself fast, barely. He sank into the chair, scanning the names again and again, then looked up. Talk. No accusation, just quiet command. Tears stung my eyes as I spilled yesterday's disaster. When I finished, he tore the half-written summer invitation clean down the middle. Good riddance. I'll phone Victoria and kill the engagement. Then the worry hit. But marrying Hunter on impulse, you can get it annulled. The company isn't only mine to protect. I'm already divorced. Images of Hunter schooling me at the table flashed back. I just signed the license. 24 hours later I wanted out. That really would make him a pawn. No, Dad. Hunter's great. Under Dad's eager stare, I winged it. He's actually been in love with me for years. 9. I sold the lie. Still, Dad insisted on meeting Hunter. Stalling. Promised soon. The moment I left, he phoned the Summoners. The next morning, Chase called. Ivy, are you insane? Real or fake about what? Calling off the wedding. I said I needed space. Not that I wouldn't marry you. You're overreacting. I laughed at his righteous fury. Anyone listening would think I cheated. Why so mad, Chase? You're the one who got cold feet. Consider the engagement null. Wish granted. Oh, I get it. You heard I'm campaigning to succeed, Dad. And a broken engagement hurts my numbers, right? I kept my tone light. He sputtered. Nonsense. I don't have to fight for what's already mine. Glad to hear it. Rumor is your big brother's pretty formidable. His breathing hitched. He slammed the phone down with a snarl. Just wait. 10. Chase's tantrum escalated into policy. Freshly appointed department head, he canceled every Sumar Vance contract. News reached our board by dawn. They summoned me for a roast, demanding answers. I did what I always do. Shot my mouth off. I'll replace every lost dollar and then some. The directors gave me 30 days stomping out like bulls. I didn't need a month. That afternoon, Hunter's corporate development team rang, learning the summer deals were dead. They flew in with a portfolio of high-margin joint ventures, projects so lucrative they'd overshoot next quarter's target before the ink dried. Partnering with Sterling was a coup. After all, Hunter and Chase were sworn rivals, and the old Vance summer engagement had forced us to sidestep Sterling contracts. Now Sterling was courting us, and whispers traveled the corridor. Before leaving, Hunter's VP clasped my hand. We're serious about this alliance. Our CEO believes in your CEO. Word spread fast. This deal happened because of me. I'd married Hunter for my own reasons, not love. Yet, I'd never meant to weaponize the marriage and guilt-trip him into doing me favors. Besides, the Vance name didn't have much left to offer him anyway. I dragged my feet, then finally called him. I just want to be clear, I said. Marketing ran the numbers. Your firm's track record speaks for itself. I only added a recommendation. His answer was pure Hunter. I see all business. Every rehearsed sentence jammed in my throat. Oh, since he'd put it that way, I had nothing more to add. Once the project wrapped and we cleared the current crisis, I could always tip the scales our way next time and call us even. I decided to hang up. Ivy, he stopped me. When are you free? We still need to talk about the marriage. Perfect. I wanted that too. Tomorrow noon, 12 o'clock. Done. 11. The next day I knocked off 10 minutes early and reached the cafe first. Or so I thought. Hunter was already there. Ew. I greeted him. He flicked me a look. We're married now. No need for the formal title. Me? Okay, Hunter. He lowered his eyes, gave a low hum, then slid the folder he'd been pinning with one hand across the table. Sign this stock transfer agreement. Post-snap. What? I stared. We rushed. He said, no time for a dowie. I'm gifting you 5% of my equity. And if we divorce because I screw up, everything on my side becomes yours. I walk away with nothing, he added, as though closing a merger. My good faith. Me, I was floored. Even saying that, he sounded like he was reading a clause. He offered me the pen. If it's acceptable, sign. No, I jerked my hands back. His gaze darkened. Problem? Yes. No, not that. I was babbling. Marrying me was already a raw deal for him. How could I let him sweeten it with this? Hunter, I can't take any of this. I spelled it out, stammering the whole time. When I finished, my back was damp with sweat. I'd negotiated plenty of contracts, yet facing him, I felt woefully short of ammunition. Typical Hunter. He'd been a deal-maker for over a decade. Profit is the creed. Yet here he was, handing me two agreements that hurt only him. When I stopped talking, his expression didn't lighten. If anything, it blackened. Ivy, this marriage isn't a balance sheet to me. Me. I froze again, heart jumping, too stunned to probe. Since I wouldn't sign, we deadlocked. Finally, I caved. Then here's my counter-offer. I hold 5% advance. I'll transfer half to you. And if the marriage fails because of me, I walk away with nothing as well. Fine. If neither of us is at fault, neither can file for divorce. Me agreed. Hunter moved fast. His office was next door. New agreements were printed and we signed them right there in the cafe. The whole scene was absurd. Afterward, he asked if I was free that afternoon. I shook my head. No. Then let me show you something. Sure. I followed, bewildered, until we pulled into the Sterling estate in Willow Heights. This is where I live. I'm making it our home. He keyed in the entry code my birthday and said, since it's now marital property, the code should be yours too. Oh, logical. Inside, the mansion was vast. Room after room, every function imaginable. He gave me the tour. On the second floor, next to the master bedroom, a door looked like a study. Private gallery, he said. A treasure room. Since when did Hunter collect? He asked. Want to see? I missed the faint hope in his eyes. Figuring newlyweds need privacy, I declined. Maybe next time. His hand was already on the knob. He let it go. All right, low voice. Heading downstairs, I spotted a grand piano in the living room. Yours, I asked. You play? He looked down. Took lessons in high school. I dabbled too. But I have no ear. I'm better with a brush. High school felt a decade away because it was 13 by 3. We'd covered every corner. A housekeeper comes daily, he said. Good. I nodded. He studied me on the verge of something. What? You could move in. Me? Way too direct. He'd exploded over my cheeks. He didn't see the problem. Legally, we were spouses after all. So I relocated to Hunter's mansion and started cohabitating. Nothing romantic. I was swamped. He more so. Often he'd head to his study after dinner. Since axing the Sumar alliance, I needed to master the Sterling partnership fast. So I worked from home too. The generous CEO carved out half the office. First joint venture, he said. Questions? Ask. He wears blue light blockers when he works. The lenses glow with screen light. The words were friendly, the tone arctic, the stare professorial. I bobbed my head like a quail. Never actually asked. My project, a hiccup came up. I moaned about it at home. The next day, his team rolled out the red carpet. Typical cold-faced, warm-hearted magnate. Eventually, the collaboration smoothed out. My after-hours overtime ended and the two crews mashed. Someone suggested drinks after work. CEO, join us. Couldn't say no. Halfway through, Hunter called. His circle was meeting. Wanted me there. I checked the address. I'm already at a team thing, I texted. I'll swing by after. Fine. When I could slip out, I messaged him and found the private dining salon. The waiter opened the door and conversation died. They stared. I stared. Ivy, what are you doing here? Chase, of course. I hadn't expected him. Hunter can't stand Chase. He avoids any guest list with him on it. I spot the girl tucked under Chase's arm. He pulls her closer. My girlfriend, he announces. I know her. She's the one who lectured me when I confronted Chase over his Instagram post. Them dating? Zero surprise. I look away, scanning for Hunter. Odd. He's nowhere in sight. Wrong room. Before I can decide, Chase pipes up again. Leaving so soon? We rarely meet and you know everyone. Can't call you Sterling yet, but CEO is just as badass. Sit. He signals the waiter for an extra chair right beside him. Most faces I do know. Several are his lackeys. They used to call me sister-in-law. His crack is meant to humiliate me in front of them. I sweep him with a cool glance, childish, and turn to go. Chase explodes. Ivy, stop. He slams the table, half rising, fury in his eyes. The bang startled me. I flinched just as the door reopened. The newcomer took one look at my face and frowned. Hunter, where did you go? I asked. I hadn't even realized it myself. But the moment I saw Hunter, I calmed down. My heart was still thudding like a drum. You said you were almost here. I didn't need to say the rest. He'd come to pick me up and missed me. But it didn't matter. He'd come back and found me looking pale and shaken. What happened? Nothing. Just got a scare. In this private dining salon, the only person who could scare me was Chase. He was the only one on his feet, and he looked ready to bite someone's head off. Hunter's eyes went arctic. His gaze flew across the room like a blade aimed at Chase. Everyone else froze. No one spoke. They stared baffled at the two of us talking, Chase most of all. His eyes carried doubt and warning. Then Hunter took my hand and led me to the head of the table. Let me introduce you all. This is my wife, Ivy. The room went even quieter. The instant the words left Hunter's lips, everyone stopped breathing, eyes widening in unison. I'd been stared at by crowds before, but this time my palms were sweating. Hunter swept the room with a glance. It landed last on Chase. You're all my brothers. Call her Sterling. In the weird heavy silence they finished the mental gymnastics, then lifted their glasses one by one. Sterling. Sterling. Holy crap. So that's Sterling. No wonder Hunter finally treated us to dinner. He was bringing you. A few of them were the loudest cheerleaders. Hunter didn't stop them, so I guess they were close. I smiled. If anyone at the table was miserable, it was Chase. From the second Hunter announced my identity, his face had turned the color of whitewash. He forgot the new girlfriend beside him. While everyone toasted me, he finally snapped out of it. Hunter blocked the drinks for me. One sentence: she doesn't like alcohol. And they backed off. Doesn't like, not can't handle. When I'd negotiated deals, I'd force the stuff down. I never thought I'd taste the client-side luxury of refusing to drink because I didn't want to. Hunter chatted with the guys. They ragged on him for hiding a whole marriage and demanded penalty shots. He knocked them back without flinching. I worried and tugged his sleeve. Relax. I know my limit. That reassured me. I sipped juice, glancing at him now and then. He still looked cool and aloof, but his brows were relaxed, eyes clear, almost smiling, a brightness I couldn't name. If he holds his liquor this well, the wedding should be fine, I mused, then jerked at my own thought, cheeks burning. I shook the fancy away and felt a hateful glare land on me. I looked up. Chase? Disgusting. I looked elsewhere. When dinner ended, everyone filed out. Hunter stood beside me. After the last goodbye, he pinched the bridge of his nose. You okay? I asked. He gave a soft grunt. I'll get the car, I said. He caught my arm. I'm coming with you. Fine. He walked steadily enough until we rounded a corner and ran straight into Chase. Still here. I was surprised, then decided it wasn't my problem and tugged Hunter to leave. But Hunter stopped. I glanced over. His face was calm, but his gaze was dark. Chase ignored him, glaring at me. Ivy, you're actually with him. The accusation was almost funny. Before I could answer, Hunter draped an arm around me. We're married. Chase's complexion worsened. When did you two get together, Hunter? None of your business. Blocked again, Chase grew angrier. You were screwing around behind my back, weren't you? He dabbed a finger at Hunter. Wasn't he the guy you hated most? You married your sworn enemy just to spite me. Me? I felt Hunter's arm stiffen. The corner of his mouth tightened. He mustn't take this the wrong way. I glared at Chase. He is not the guy I hated most. Chase went another shade paler. Hunter stayed silent, chin lifting slightly. His hands settled at my waist. He clearly had no patience left for Chase. As we passed, Chase suddenly laughed coldly. Ivy, you can fool the world, but not me. My stomach lurched. Sure enough, he turned to Hunter. She only married you to make me jealous. You think she actually likes you? This proves she still loves me. Me? My temples throbbed. Where did this moronic competence come from? Yet the logic sounded annoyingly plausible, and I frowned, worried Hunter might buy it. I shouldn't have. Hunter chuckled, pure contempt, probably fury. He hugged me closer and tilted his head. You're just a stray dog. My wife finally saw you for what you are. You think you're special? Go see a shrink. You're not half as rare as you imagine. Me? I finally noticed something odd. I studied Hunter's eyes. Bright, steady, then his stance rock solid. Hunter, you. Come on, wife. Let's go. He pulled me away. Behind us, Chase was practically hyperventilating. I ignored him because I realized Hunter was drunk. He never talks that much. Back home, he collapsed on the sofa. I poked him. Hunter, are you wasted? Nope. Then who am I? He opened his eyes and smiled. My wife. Me. Verdict. Definitely drunk. I sighed. An idea flashed. I crouched. Hunter. Do you like me? Yeah. Me suspecting was one thing. Hearing it was another. I inhaled to steady my racing heart. When did you start liking me? Silence. I poked him. No reaction. Just as I thought, he dozed off. He sat bolt upright, scaring me. Shower. Me. Bathrooms that way. I pointed. He didn't move, just looked at me. Let's shower together. Me 19. In the end, no joint shower. The next morning, Hunter remembered nothing. I'm off to work, he said, as frosty and unapproachable as ever. I nodded, then stopped him. Hunter, my dad wants to meet you. He blinked rapidly. When? This weekend. Are you free? Okay. He left. He'd met Richard at business functions. I figured he wouldn't be nervous. Come Saturday, he dressed sharper than for any board meeting. The trunk and back seat were crammed with gifts. Me. You drive. I've got contracts to review. That busy? Should we reschedule? No, I can read in the car. He refused. I drove gently so he could focus. But after a while, I noticed the contract page hadn't turned and its corner was crumpled in his fist. He's nervous. Amused and touched, I called softly, Hunter. He looked over. My dad's a great guy. He adores me. He'll love whoever I bring home. I chatted to ease him. After a pause, he asked, Did you ever take Chase home? Me? Never. Hunter gave a small grunt and I felt him relax. Suddenly, a black motorcycle shot from the side and slammed toward the driver's door. Ivy. Hunter reacted first, lunging across to yank the wheel. Crash. We scraped the guardrail, missing the direct hit. The jolt was brutal. My chest throbbed. Hunter had a gash on his forehead. Brows knitted in pain. Thanks to Hunter's reflexes and my low speed, the impact was mild. My CT scan was clear. Hunter got the worst. A fractured forearm and slight concussion. When I returned with his meds, the traffic cop was leaving. We've got the suspect. You'll hear soon. Hunter nodded, a bandage on his brow, face pale from blood loss. Seeing me in the doorway, he stretched out his good hand. Come here. I walked over. His eyes traveled me head to toe. You all right? I'm fine. I shook my head. I'm fine. Really? I said. I'll check you out in a little while and have the driver take us to your place. Even now, Hunter hadn't forgotten about meeting my dad. I already told Dad we're not coming today, I added. Well, go once you're better. He still looked worried. I assured him it really was okay. Dad would understand. Only then did he relax. Hunter was discharged after 2 days. Since he couldn't work with his injuries, I took time off to look after him. With nothing else to do, the two of us got a little bored. To kill time, I asked Hunter to model for me. I started drawing in high school and kept at it through college, I said. But I haven't touched a pencil in years. No idea if I'm rusty. The longer we spent together, the more Hunter and I talked. I'd occasionally tell him stories from college. Then I remembered he'd never gone because of family issues. Afraid he'd dwell on it, I switched to high school memories. Hunter had to hold still for the posing. He'd answer me in 1 or 2 lines. I was actually pretty good, I bragged. At charity auctions, my canvases always sold for the top price. Impressive, right? I peeked out from behind the easel at him. Yeah, very impressive, he said, nodding. I grinned. Proud. Not anymore, though. Running the company keeps me busy. Painting's just a hobby now. I set the pencil down. All right, come have a look. Hunter walked over. He stared at the drawing, transfixed. I didn't notice, rambling on. It's not great. You're way better looking in real life. No, it's beautiful, Hunter said. Ivy, this is the first time you've ever drawn me. Surprised? I asked. You like it? If you do, I can paint you more often. He nodded. A month later, Hunter's hand had mostly healed. I went with him to have the cast removed and pick up the car. While we were there, we heard Chase had been taken in for questioning. I was puzzled, but since it didn't concern me, I didn't ask. Only later did I learn Chase was behind our crash. He'd hired someone to ram our car. There wasn't enough evidence to charge him, so nothing happened. When I found out, I was furious. Hunter had known longer than I had. He told me not to dwell on it. He'd handle everything. Right after Chase's detention ended, word spread that he was at war with his older half-brother. Chase had leaned on family money for 20+ years. He had no real skills. Now a capable, illegitimate son had shown up to fight for the inheritance, and Chase was stretched thin. Pushed into a corner, he tried the same trick twice, hiring a hitman. This time, the evidence was ironclad, and Chase was finished for good. After Hunter recovered, he came home with me. Dad had held a grudge against him. But when he heard Hunter had shielded me in the crash, the grudge vanished. He still had to play the stern father-in-law. If it weren't for the fact that you'd pined after my daughter for years and saved her life, I'd never have approved this marriage. But now, Dad, I cut him off, mortified. What are you saying? But the words were out and Hunter had heard. He didn't comment then. On the way home, though, he asked, You told your dad I've been pining after you. Well, how did you know? I said, Nothing. I definitely couldn't admit I'd made it up. You said so when you were drunk. Hunter frowned. When was I drunk? That night you took me to meet your buddies. He didn't press further. Instead, he tried to recall that evening. By bedtime, he'd remembered. We ended up sharing a shower. Hunter and I had been married 6 months. Half a year later, we threw a lavish wedding. Everyone said I'd landed a jackpot. I knew Hunter was formidable, but I didn't want to hide under his wing, so I fought to build my own market. Within 2 or 3 years, the board's prejudice against me vanished. I became one of the company's pillars. Since marrying Hunter, I figured I must love him. But Hunter was too shy to say he loved me. I was shy too. We'd grown much closer. Still, compared with ordinary couples, we lacked something. Hunter probably didn't notice. He was too good at hiding. Sometimes I could only read his true feelings in tiny details. For example, I drew him lots of portraits. Every one of them disappeared the next day. Don't ask, Hunter had hidden them. And I knew exactly where. The first time he brought me to this house, he'd shown me a locked private gallery. One morning after he left for work, on impulse, I opened that room. There was no treasure inside, only canvases. Dozens of them, all old. I recognized them. I told Hunter about them long ago, my charity auction pieces that fetched the highest bids. Hunter had bought every one from high school through college. I seemed to have stumbled onto something enormous, so Hunter really had carried a torch for me for years. After discovering his secret, I couldn't resist teasing him that night. So you really have been pining after me? Since when? Oh my. The mighty CEO has such delicate little secrets and no courage to admit them. Hunter's ears burned red. He clenched his fists, trying to stay composed. Ivy, you can't. Can't what? I held his gaze. Hunter, I found you out. Why won't you confess? His lashes fluttered. Forget it. Seeing how many years he'd adored me, I'd go first. Kissed him. I love you, Hunter. I wake from the dream again. My arm is numb. I see Ivy asleep beside me. This isn't a dream. It's real. I married Ivy. No one knows I've loved her for years, since high school. Back then she studied art. She'd wandered the school gardens with her easel, sketching. The white uniform skirt looked perfect on her. To glimpse her longer, I practiced piano in the room next to the art studio after class. She was a freshman already set on attending an art college. I could have gotten in too, but my family wanted me in finance. While I agonized over how to do both, disaster struck. My father died in a car crash on the spot. The company was suddenly headless. I left school and took over. The last time I visited the music room, I saw Ivy alone in the neighboring studio. Hi, could you listen to a piece I'll play at the New York concert? That was the first time I spoke to her, mustering all my courage. Under the guise of rehearsal, I played Clair de Lune for her. Ivy never guessed its real meaning. She only smiled and said, "Beautiful. I think it's perfect. Good luck." She even told me to let her know when the program was printed. She'd cheer for me in advance. In truth, the piece was for her alone, and I had only that one chance. After Dad died, many eyed our fortune. A widow and a teenage boy inspired no pity, only greed. At 17, when I took the reins, most people sneered. They mocked, belittled, and insulted me. They told me to sell the company. I remember once drinking 3 bottles of baijiu to land a contract. The date is seared into me. The day Ivy's class took the college entrance exam. I lay in a hospital bed watching the news, and they interviewed her. The reporter asked if she'd get into her dream school. She nodded. She did get in. I actually visited her campus. It was gorgeous. Every corner looked like a painting. In her first week of freshman year, a photo of her sketching by the lake went viral. Lots of guys chased her. I felt both relieved she wasn't dating and sorry I had no idea how to approach her. I'd never gone to college. I carried a company everyone thought was doomed. Those years were brutal and hollow, but seeing Ivy gave me new drive. During her sophomore year, my company crawled back to life. I bought the canvas she donated to a charity auction. It was the only way I could reach her. Senior year, the Vance family hit trouble. She abandoned the art she'd studied for years and stepped into the boardroom just like I had. I watched her stumble, then choose a marriage alliance to secure equity and board support. I thought my moment had come. Instead, she picked Chase. So what did Chase have that I didn't? Frustrated as I was, I never considered forcing her. I simply disliked Chase. I never imagined he'd declare his true love on the day he was supposed to marry her. When Ivy showed up, I was stunned. When she asked me to marry her, I was even more stunned. I should have said yes instantly. Why did I make her sink those last 3 pool balls? Watching her miss the final shot and almost give up, I couldn't sit still. Let me teach you. That ball was going in tonight. Later, Ivy uncovered my secret. A decade of hopeless longing, timid and small as I was. Love I could only confess in the dead of night while she slept finally saw daylight and received a blazing sincere answer. The end.